This is the Say It Can't Gamer, and you are live with the MMA-Holes!
Mixed Martial A-Holes! MMA-Holes, 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 MMA-Holes. You like to be a mixed martial A-hole. MMA-Holes, 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 MMA-Holes.
Boom, 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 boom.
No way.
From the Queen Studios of New York, Peppa Pig KO's Bellator 206, UFC 229 Fight Week, Ryan Castro live with the MMA Holes. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Holes. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is Monday. We are here. We are live. The best place on earth, the MMA Holes, and we have a swole, sexy show for you tonight.
Yeah.
So strap in, strap on. It's going to be a bumpy ride, Jessie.
Or it's very smooth flowing.
Or yeah, we'll find out. It's wonderful, wonderful. Hope everyone inside the cell phone is wonderful, wonderful. And we are going to start this show off with a bang. That's right. Bellator happened this weekend. We're going to talk you through that. Peppa Pig ruined Bellator for some people. Not for us, but for some people. And tonight, live on the MMA Holes, we have swole, sexy Ryan Castro. And here he is. Ryan Castro, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Anytime. So now, okay, Bellator is a big topic right now, and it's fitting to have a Bellator fighter live on this show. We met you at Triton Fights, the last event over there, and I tell you what, a banging organization. You fought for them multiple times, and now you are making your second pro fight for Bellator. How does it feel to step inside that circular cage?
Well, I don't know how that'll feel just yet. I don't really have many emotions or feelings towards it. I'm just ready, man. I've been in the cage and competition multiple times. This will be my 18th bout. I had 16 amateur fights, so I'm not really letting this one get to my head too much. You know, I'm going to let the excitement and all the feelings come to me after I drop this kid like a bad habit.
Now,
you know?
we were looking back at your record over here. I'm going to pull up the Tapology for the people. And yeah, when you say you had a lot of amateur fights, man, you really have been around. You were on a 5-fight win streak, Ami, going into pro. Why did it take so long to go to pro? Did you want to make sure you did it right? You were ready to be pro? What was the path?
Well, this is a brief summary of it. When I started the scene, there was 3 fights previous to what Tapology has recorded. So I started off with a 5 or 6 fight win streak. I went in real hot. I served up at the time. It was a brown belt out of Sarah's James Gonzalez. That's my first registered fight on Tapology, and I had a great fight with him. And prior to fighting him, when I cleared out the first 3 fights, I thought I was ready. I went the distance with him, and then you know, I saw some different looks, so I said, you know what, maybe I got to start mixing up my opponents and, you know, getting a little bit uncomfortable. Then I had my first loss. I fought a gentleman by the name of Sam Watford, who went on to fight for Bellator after fighting me. I came back. I won a fight that's not registered on Tapology. Then I took some time off. I partied like a rock star that summer. I think it was 2015. Came back, fought Nick Fiore, who was 8-0 at the time. I lost that fight. I took it on about, I don't know, I want to say 10 days notice. I cut 30 pounds. I was, you know, just an immature move on my part. So there was some bumps in the road. And once I suffered defeat, it gave me a whole new outlook on life itself in competition. And so when I got back on my bike, so to speak, I won the 170-pound title for KTFO, which is what Triton is formerly known as. I after that fight, I was pretty confident. Oh, you know what? I'm ready to go pro now. I got some of the bumps and bruises out of the way. Then I lost a very controversial decision to a guy by the name Clubber Creed.
Okay.
After that, I knew I had won that fight. Nobody could tell me otherwise. I wasn't too upset about it. I was just going to let it rock. I totaled my car at the time. I was driving a 2010 SS Camaro. I had a punk mentality. I drove it like an asshole. So I got behind the wheel one day racing one of my buddies, and we pulled into a parking lot, going to a Pep Boys. You pick up some stuff, and then casually pulling out of the parking lot, I blasted someone pretty good, and I was fortunate enough to walk away from the accident. This was the summer of 2016. So at that point, I was battling addiction pretty hard. I won't say what substance or what form it was, but I was pretty lost in addiction. I was still training. Mm-hmm. I was still competing. I lost somebody a few weeks after my accident that was very dear to me, a mentor of mine, actually a religious leader, so to speak. And I haven't been into church for years, so when that happened, I got real nutty religious. And I don't think I was thinking clear. I wasn't thinking straight, but I was training very hard. I came back. I fought on the first officially sanctioned New York event. They wrote up the hell out of it. They did News 12 articles. They used me as the face because I had a lot of experience. We helped me and my team really helped build that promotion up to where they are today. And I won't say I have a lot to do with it, but I do have something to do with it. I got knocked out in 8 seconds. That was supposed to be my night. I had so many sponsors going into that fight. I sold about 200 tickets. I made like $5 or $6 grand from that amateur fight, and it only lasted 8 seconds.
Wow.
Now, after that happened, now I'm 2 losses on a 2-fight losing streak. I forget what my record was at that time, but I was having my doubts, man. But, hey, I found myself in the gym again, and then to not sound too cliche, I wound up wrapping that same car around the tree. So I totaled the car twice in the same year.
Jesus Christ.
So this is a few weeks after I got knocked out cold. I was lost, man. I didn't know who I was. I was heavily concussed. And it was a real trial and tribulation period of my life because here I am. I have who was my wife at the time. She was my fiance for about 6 months. We had just moved in together. I had given up my job as an electrician to, put all I can into my craft, and everything was just falling apart, man. And for about 3 months, I'd say, or maybe less, I guess it was October, November, December, I was just out of my element completely, not training. January 1st rolls around, 2016. I get into jiu-jitsu, hard body, with Joe D'Arcy. I start training there religiously. I avoided contact to the head for about 2 months. I signed up for a fight in March. I won, got a title for a local organization in the city. And then from then on, I fought again in May. I felt a little rusty. It went the distance. I'm used to finishing fights. And when I started weighing out my options, not only as a fighter, but as a man, I look at the person next to me, my wife. I'm thinking in my head, well, she's my fiance. I'm thinking like, man, I have a pretty good chance of messing things up with my girl right now if I keep on going in this direction to where I'm fighting amateur, not really making anything, working different jobs here, there. So after that fight, I stopped training completely. This is last year. After my 2-fight win streak, May rolls around. I wasn't partying. I wasn't drinking, really. I just went back to work, man, and I wanted to, start building a life with her. I didn't know what the future really held. I didn't want to kid myself. I knew at the time I wasn't the best. I knew I was one of the best, and I had a lot of experience, but opportunities weren't presenting themselves. So I'm working. I get a call from Nick Canobio. It's a few days before I fought Johnny Piero. He's like, hey, man, we had somebody pull out. can you fight? What weight? I was like, dude, I'm like 190 right now, man. I'm like, whatever weight you could give me, I'm like, fuck it. I'll roll in there and make this shit happen. I mean, I always got fight in me. If I'm not fighting in the ring, I'm fighting on the street. That's the way it is. That's why I have to stay so active, because I'm a fucking lunatic. Like, you know, I'm just very high strung. Like if I don't get that, my aggression out, it'll surface in a bad way, usually towards my friends and family. I mean, I feel bad for all of them because I fucked up a good amount of my life. So I take that fight, I win. I take this young prospect out. He's a high level wrestler, you know, overcame some adversity, and then, you know, I started, you know, feeling good again, but still not convinced. Next week I get a call again, NYFE.
Super chat.
Hold on a second. Someone's donating right now.
Awesome.
Hey, cutie. You ever have a black girl sit on her face?
It's a great question. Have you ever had a black girl sit on your face?
No, I have not.
Okay. I mean, I wish I had a black girl on my face right now. No, Jessie?
I saw that come in, and I was trying so hard not to laugh because, like, this would be so disrespectful with the story you were telling. And I was like, man, if I'm laughing during this story, it's going to look awful. It's going to look like I'm the worst person in the world. And
you are.
Finally it came in.
Yeah,
like,
you're the second worst person in the world. I'm just pretending right now.
So get back to the story, though. This is actually, and thank you for the donation. This is an interesting story here. So do you use MMA to channel that anger? Is that where you're going with this? That's
100%. Let me tell you something. MMA to me isn't really channeling my anger. MMA is me being myself. When that cage locks, let's fucking go, man. There's no holding back anymore. I mean, I hate to say it, I kind of do. And in some ways, I have the reputation of, like, when I get invited to spar at a gym, they usually don't invite me to come back. You have to know me pretty well, or you know, understand the way that I go about things. Like, my name speaks for itself. I mean, I'm laborious. I work extensively. I work very hard. I don't try to hurt anybody. But the minute I feel like you're trying to hurt me, I'm fucking you up. Like, I don't give a shit.
Now,
so
well, I was going to say real quick, we are live with Ryan Castro, Loborious. Where did you get this nickname Loborious from?
So, funny thing is, my mentor that I had that passed away, I heard him one day just in a speech drop that word. And I'm like, laborious. And this is before, right around the time where I first started training and fighting. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I fucking like this word. And I know the word lobo in Spanish term, I'm very Hispanic. It's like, you know, it means wolf, or the white wolf, the alpha wolf. Also, Lobo, Lobo, is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time from Superman. He's the badass fucking bike rider who's not good and he's not bad. He fulfills Superman's place when Superman dies for the Justice League. And it's kind of how I view myself in a sense. Like, I'm just that fucking bad guy trying to be good, or fucking, you know, I'm not, I don't always have the best intentions.
Super chat.
Got a super chat coming in. Hold on 1 second.
No dipshit. I was talking to you, ginger bearded man.
All right, it's the fat black girl. She's back again. Yes.
Have you?
Yes, I have. No, I have not. All right. So
who's she calling ginger beard? Because I know I got one too. So
yes.
You know.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this community. I have no idea.
That's great. Love it.
So Ryan, there's a lot of stuff I want to get to in a short amount of time over here. So Lobo, by the way, used to be one of my favorite characters in the comics. It's actually funny you say it. Disturbing, ripping people's heads off. I know exactly who you're talking about over here. So that's actually a pretty cool nickname over there. You have a Bellator fight coming up, and I wanted to touch base on this. I saw that you did fight with CES, and you actually fought a friend of the show. This is actually pretty funny. I just noticed this right now. Pat Casey. Yeah, we're familiar with Pat. We had him on a couple of times. The Gorilla Ninja. Now,
he's a stud.
Now,
sure.
that is a tough matchup for as your pro debut in front of the big lights on CES over there. What was that experience like, and how does that prepare you for something like Bellator?
Oh, well, let me tell you. First and foremost, no disrespect to him. You give me enough time to fight that man, I'll beat the fucking shit out of him. But it was a great experience because I will admit he was the highest level of competition. He was the baddest motherfucker that I faced. He was like a brick wall. I mean, he pretty much is the full package as far as an MMA fighter goes. But, man, I wasn't prepared for that fight, and he couldn't take me out. I stood in front of him toe-to-toe. You know, we exchanged, you know, and he had the more well-rounded approach to it. And after dealing with that kind of pressure that he brings and that strength, it really did level me up in a serious way. You know what I mean? It's like, 'cause if I'm in there banging out with Pat Casey, if he couldn't take me out, and I know that I have his respect and he knows I'm a warrior, but you know, it definitely elevated me to a new place. And hey, and after that fight, I was still, you know, very skeptical about what I was doing. I felt like I made an amateur mistake at the pro level, and I didn't want that to happen again. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like where I'm at right now.
So after this, okay, listen, no one wants to lose, but yeah, Pat Casey's a tough dude. I've seen him fight multiple times, and the guy he's a beast. He's an absolute beast. Yeah. He's fought for Bellator as well. Now this happens, right? You have this long winning streak. You take the loss here, but how do you bounce back from something like that? You just take from that fight and just move on.
Let me tell you something. I don't think about yesterday. I don't focus on tomorrow. I worry about today. I wasn't the best version of me that day. I wasn't myself that day. And there was a lot of things.
You're going to wrap one on one shoulder, you're going to wrap the other on the other shoulder, and you're going to need a fucking army
we got another
to come take their belts off me.
Nigga, you out here complaining about having to overcome defender benders? Nigga, we out here emaciated as fuck in Africa eating rocks with a side of salt water. Don't give me this self-pity, my guy.
That's from Starvin' Marvin.
Emaciated as fuck.
All right, Starvin' Marvin. I dig it. I dig it.
Yeah, Starvin' Marvin dropped it.
I closed on a house that same week. Was closing on a house. I could make excuses, whatever. I lost. I fought a better man that night, but I didn't have a full fight camp. I didn't have a proper weight cut. You know, I went into unfamiliar territory. I went to his home, and you know, I was on the worst end of a beating. Now I have 12 weeks, 14 weeks, whatever it was to prepare. I'm more than ready in every aspect of the game.
So let's talk about it. So you get a call. You get a call from Bellator. How does this work? What is your reaction when you find out that you are on this Bellator card?
I was screaming on the top of my lungs, and I went sprinting at 12 o'clock in the morning when I found out. I was 197 pounds. I was fat. I wasn't training again. I was working on my house. My wife's pregnant, getting ready for, you know, adulthood, so to speak. But the dream is always in the back of my head. I was waiting for an opportunity like this. If I didn't have an opportunity present itself such as this, I would have went into coaching. I would have went into just my regular life, training, and, you know, wait for the right opportunity to present itself. But something like this, you take the bull by the fucking horns and you ride that bitch. And if Dennis beats me come October 13th, he will have beaten the best Ryan Loborious Castro there is. There will be no excuses, nothing to say. Every stone has been unturned this fight camp, and I'm ready for wherever it goes, man.
It is October 13th. It's going to be exciting over here because you have Sonnen versus Fedor. You have goddamn Fedor on the card that you are on here. I mean, how does that feel being on a fight card with Fedor?
Oh, man, he's the GOAT, man. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, him, Benson Henderson's on the card, Shek Congo. There is some star-struck moments that will take place that night for sure. I'm trying my best not to think about it, not to get excited, so I'm not like a kid at the candy store and lose my focus, you know, and that's probably going to be the hardest part of the whole thing, is ignoring all the outside noise. I mean, in my head, this isn't about Sonnen and Fedor. This is about Ryan Castro, No Limits Kickboxing, Freedom Jiu-Jitsu, my sponsors. Like, this is me building my brand. This is me building my name. I'm there for me and nobody else. So you talk to me as soon as this fight's over, then I'm going to be fanboying all night, you know. But I can't. I don't want to really let it get to me so much right now.
The real big question here is, what are you going to be walking out to the cage with? What's the music?
Oh man, we were just discussing this. I don't know if I want to ruin the surprise.
Well, here's the place to do it. If you're going to ruin it, this is the place to do it.
I will say it's something very dramatic, something very familiar to people. Hold on, I could if I pull it up, I might lose you guys.
All right, so
I'm not exactly sure what the name is, but it's pretty epic.
All right, there you go. All right, is it going to be rock? Is it going to be hip hop? What are we looking at? Metal?
Heartfelt.
Country?
No.
Opera?
Operatic.
Really? No kidding.
Yeah.
Do you find do you find walking out there to go to a fight, do you find that you need heart-pumping music, or do you need something more soothing, melodic?
Honestly, it all depends on which personality of mine is going to come out. I still haven't officially, made my decision, but how I'm feeling right now is pretty deep,
Mm-hmm. Now, Ryan Castro is live with the MMA-Holes, has a big fight coming up with Bellator over here, but I'm showing a picture of you on the ground for Triton fights. You are waving at the camera over here. There's a man trying to choke you out, and you're just having a grand old time. Well, can you explain what's going on in this picture?
That's me having a good time. That's me in my element right there, man. I just, that was a great fight for me. I just came back from my honeymoon, just got married. I already beat up this kid's friend. I just didn't feel threatened by him at any way, shape, or form. I to be honest, I really wasn't even training, and you could see it in the way that I look physically. If you look at the pictures of me before and after the fight and look at me now, I'm a totally different person. I was fighting up a weight class. But, man, when I'm in there, I'm me. I'm having a good time. I don't really take it all that seriously.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so that's what that was.
I think that's what it's all about, right? Having fun in there. I mean, you got to love what you do, right? You have to love it. And if it means beating someone up, so be it, right?
Or getting beat up.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Castro, live with the MMA-Holes. A pleasure to have you on here. Now, the fight is coming up, Bellator, Chael Sonnen versus Fedor, but it doesn't matter. October 13th, it's going down with this man over here, Loborious, will be doing some work. Do you have any predictions in this fight?
My prediction is I'm taking him into deep waters, and he's going to feel a fire down there.
Now,
I won't say what or when, but I'd be very surprised if it goes the distance.
There you go. All right, and do you have any predictions for the goddamn Giants? I'm a huge Giant fan myself, for God's sakes. This is ridiculous.
Breaking my heart, man.
You got to wear the hat proud regardless, right?
Yeah, I am, man. I won't take it off. I think I have some optimistic feelings towards them, but I do feel like we still have a lot of building to do.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with our O-line, and I'm kind of hoping that we have a year like last year again, just so that we could keep on getting these picks and build a team.
Yeah.
Because the way it's looking right now, it doesn't look like a Super Bowl winning team.
Yeah, I agree. It's just give up. it's painful. That offensive line.
Sometimes you got to be that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Khabib or Conor? This big fight this weekend.
I'm gonna say Khabib, man, by a fucking long shot.
There you go, Khabib for the win. All right, so now I want you to do. We have Jessie has a couple of questions from the chat, and we're gonna wind this thing up. And shout out to TygerLyfe Energy. I noticed that you're rocking the TygerLyfe constantly over there.
Sir.
Shout out to TygerLyfe Energy. Would you like to say anything about that product? Because we have nothing but good things to say.
Oh man, I drink a bit too much of it. Probably about 4 or 5 of them today, just because I can't get enough of it. But man, it's just. There's nothing better as far as energy goes. It's clean. You don't get the jitters. It's got a good taste. It mixes phenomenally with any alcohol. I'm very much looking forward to mixing it up with some vodka and tequila after my fight. So, man, it's good for all purposes. Work, training, for a substitute for coffee, whatever, man. It's just, it's a good brand all in all. And the guys that are making it, they're not putting anything real hazardous to your body, so that's to me what the most important thing is.
It is. It's good stuff, and yeah, there is no crash, and that's the important part. All these energy drinks you just drop. This thing, it's unbelievable. All right, Jessie, some questions from the chat room. What do you got going on?
Drunk Savage would like to say, we know you're bald, stop hiding it, and would like you to take off the cap.
I know, it's a shame. 26 years old, I'm losing it. So that happens when you're married at 26.
Yeah. Tell me about it. What else we got there, Jessie?
Steve Johnson would like to know where you are from.
Patchogue, New York.
New York. What do you drive now?
I have another 2010 SS Camaro. I just purchased about 3 times as fast as my last one, but my daily driver is a 2010 Toyota Corolla.
All right.
And then who would be a dream fight for you?
Ooh. Now, a dream fight? If I'm thinking with where I'm at now and where I'll be in the next 5 years, I'd say Max Holloway. Something like that.
Not like one of the top, like Brian Ortega. You would go with Max Holloway?
I don't think Ortega's gonna take Max, to be honest.
Spoken
and
like
you know what it is? I like the way that Holloway fights. So when you're saying dream fight, I'm an entertainer,
right?
And you're not gonna be in a boring fight. Not that you will be in a boring fight with Ortega, but I like to stand and bang, and that's what Holloway does, man. He makes it fun. He gets into the pocket. He encourages, let's stand up and trade. And I'll find a home at 145. So that's why I'm going that division as well.
2019's right around the corner. Where do you see yourself at the beginning of 2019?
Well, my daughter will be born, so I'll definitely be spending time with her in February.
Congrats.
Hopefully, I could get a couple of fights in after this before the year's up. But 2019 will be my biggest year yet, that's for sure. I think a lot of opportunities will present themselves. In a perfect world, I'll be signed to Bellator and on my way to another fight with them.
There you go. All right, Ryan, good luck. Congratulations, and looking forward to see your fights. Any shout-outs to some sponsors?
Yeah, shout out to TygerLyfe first and foremost, Cherry Vita. They got the greatest CBD supplements around. Hummus Fit. They're a great meal prep food service out here in Suffolk County, New York. I got my main gym, No Limits Kickboxing and MMA. Head coach Rick Schaefer, and then my jits coach. He just opened up a spot, Freedom Jiu-Jitsu, over in Medford. And I'm also going to shout out the big man, Anthony Giacchina. He had a major part in getting me on track and towards the Bellator circuit. So he'll be in my corner also. Look out for him. He's a stud. All
right, Ryan, thanks for coming on, and good luck in your fight.
Thanks for having me, guys.
There we go.
Talk to you soon.
Ryan Castro live on the MMA-Holes. Here we are posing at the last Triton Fights event over here. Big things to come for Castro the Entertainer. You can go give him a follow on Instagram. It's castro.the.entertainer. Check him out on IG. I tell you what, the guy has a big personality. Tonight we got to hear a little bit of, how he got up into the sport, some of the troubles he's had, but he is full of life. Check him out on Instagram, and he will be fighting on this card over here. Jessie, what do you have to say about that?
He's an interesting character.
I tell you what, yeah.
I can say that much. He's, I saw some things in the chat that I really wanted to ask, but he seems like the kind of guy that you can only ask certain questions.
you didn't feel comfortable asking those questions, huh?
No, I did, but I didn't know. Well, listen, I've got a co-host. I've got to make sure we're on the same page. And if I just throw him off and you're not on that level, then I could get in some serious trouble.
Give a shit. Next time we have Castro back on, maybe after
I'm
his
more
victory.
than willing to ask the shitty questions.
Yeah, next time we go there. But Castro, I tell you what, you check him out on IG. The guy's funny. The fact that he's almost getting choked out and he's just waving at the camera, having a good old time over here. Triton Fights champion. He was on a huge winning streak. He took a loss in his pro debut, but now he has a shot at Bellator over here, and it's a big opportunity for these people. Bellator gives these people chances. If you have an outstanding win, next thing you know, you have a contract with Bellator. So, and look what they did this weekend, right? Look what they did this weekend. Bellator did something special this weekend with the fight with Rory Macdonald and Gegard Mousasi, but there was only one problem. There was a pig, a Peppa Pig.
I have the story.
Wonderful.
That's right. A Peppa Pig.
Yes.
Interrupted Bellator 206 this weekend.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about the card real quick, and then we're going to get into that story over here. Gegard Mousasi, I feel, ended Rory Macdonald's career. I really do. I feel it. The guy's nose has been busted up for the longest time.
Well, he ended his nose.
Rory Macdonald, he had some serious problems with the UFC with that nose, right?
Yeah.
Finally, he waits. He gets the thing fixed properly, and he does his own. He comes into Bellator. He rattles a couple of wins off and grabs the belt. He is the welterweight champion, and then fights Gegard Mousasi, and Gegard just fucking reopens his face, gushing out blood, rearranging his nose, and Rory Macdonald's fucked up again, back to square one. That nose will never be the same. In fact, Rory Macdonald is the new Michael Jackson.
Wonderful.
That's what I'm saying. Right, Jessie? Fucking Michael Jackson over here. That nose is not. It's gonna
do
be
that
again. I mean, it's a shame. I was curious. I was skeptical why Rory would take this fight when they announced this fight. I was like, wait, what's going on here? Isn't Gegard a little big? I mean, why? Why are we doing this? I know size doesn't matter, but when it comes to a guy like Gegard Mousasi with the skill and talent, now he's 45-6-2, right? He got on top of Rory and absolutely mutilated him. And it's almost like Bellator was just looking for that big fight, that fun super fight, and ruined Roy's career. How is Roy going to bounce back from this? This nose is never going to be the same. Now, he's crazy enough to fight without a nose. We've seen him do it before. But how much longer can you go? It's a shame. It's a damn shame that this happened. And, credit to Gegard. He did his thing. He did what he had to do. But, man, that was hard to watch as Gegard runs over Rory Macdonald. What's your thoughts, Jessie, on that fight?
It's great.
It's great.
CBD.
CBD. Holy shit. Some CBD coming in right now.
CBD.
Grinding in the shadows.
CBD. CBD. CBD.
CBD.
CBD. CBD. CBD. CBD. CBD. CBD. CBD. CBD. It helps with healing process and inflammation and stuff like that. So you wanted to get these for
Nate Diaz.
After fight training and make your life a better place.
What up?
What up, Grinding?
What up?
What's going on with the CBD donation? Thank you very much. It is UFC 229 Fight Week. We're going to talk about this Bellator card real quick. Jump into the news. The show is only an hour, but you can save the show. Remember, save the show every Monday night. 5 minutes left, and the donation saves the show. Here we go. Rampage Jackson versus Wanderlei Silva. They're already talking about a fifth one. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous here. They fight at heavyweight. Wanderlei's like, fuck it. I go fight that heavyweight. I'll come up there and beat you up, you fat fuck, and then Rampage rips him apart and destroys him. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you want to see a fifth. Do you want to see a fifth fight, Jessie? No. I say no. Let me know in the chat if you want to see it, yes or no. What else do we have over here on Bellator? Hold on, scroll through. Lima, at the very, very end of this fight versus Koreshkov, he gets the win, gets the finish. Not the most pleasant of fights to watch, but shout out to Lima, moving on, getting paid, and getting the victory. Aaron Pico is the motherfucking real deal. That's all I got to say. He is the real deal. Calling out Pitbull, wanting a championship fight. Aaron Pico is wonderful.
Wonderful.
We have over here Kerry Melendez getting a win, slimly getting a win over here, almost catches the L, and Gaston Bolanos gets the win as well. So that's Bellator 206. Let me know in the chat if you like the whole Dazin or Dazin card over there. Jessie.
Ryan Castro's in the chat saying thanks for all the feedback. Appreciate all the compliments.
There we go.
Just as much as the criticism.
All right, Ryan, thank you. And go give Ryan a follow there. Check him out on Instagram. Like we said, it's Castro the Entertainer. Go check him out. It's Castro.the. Well, hold on. Let me just show you. It's a lot of dots in there. It's a very easy one to find. Castro.the.entertainer. Go check him out over there and follow him on YouTube too. If you missed the interview with Castro the Entertainer, Ryan Castro, who's fighting for Bellator, it's in the beginning of the show. Go rewind it when we're done. When I say so. 20 likes.
20 likes, 20 likes.
I've got fucking 20 likes, yeah.
20 likes, 20 likes.
I've got
fucking 20 likes, 20 likes, 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes. I hope the dislikes die of leprosy.
And shout out to Molo Fukin, TygerLyfe Energy, and Duplex Entertainment. Links are in the description for more information. TygerLyfe Energy is goddamn delicious. No crash and clean energy. Jessie, what's going on in that chat room?
Well, we have a lot of news today, just to make sure everybody knows.
Well, can't you read a couple of things from the chat, Jessie?
Greg Blaze says, love you, Ryan. Stanley Moon says, yo, Castro, peace. Kevin Costa says, Khabib win. Stanley Moon, good lad. Steve Johnson to Van Shipman says, it's close to there, but that's on the edge of Brooklyn near the water. I was in the Hellhole Center. Troy E says, yo. Van Shipman says, I found some proper six on Amazon. It's half as good for half the money.
Wonderful.
Shanwood says, I'm not paying. I will watch an awesome fight reaction instead. Michael J. Steve Johnson, is Sheephead's Bay a thing?
Yes,
Jack Jones says,
Sheep's Head.
Jack Jones says, Chris, let me call.
If we get extended tonight on the MMA-Holes Hour, we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock. You donate, whatever the donation is, we go that much longer. If you do donate at the end of the show, we will go longer, and I will open up the phone lines. But, Jessie, we have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I see there's a little concern in your face.
Well, a little bit, because the blabbing is a little excessive tonight.
Oh, well.
With only 25 minutes left of the show.
I love you.
I love you more.
But the MMA-Holes love you, Jessie.
Yeah.
You ready for some news?
I'm always ready. Always.
Are you ready?
Jessie.
It's so beautiful.
Read us the news.
All right.
Wonderful.
All right. Let's go to the MMA-Holes.com. We're going to fly through the news tonight. And
like
let's see.
Speedy Gonzalez fly through.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Yes.
All right. Here we go.
Sean O'Malley reveals he's out of UFC 229 due to a failed drug test. Sean O'Malley reveals he's out of UFC 229 card due to a potential violation of the USADA policy. O'Malley was scheduled to take on Jose Quinones on the preliminary portion of UFC 229 on October 6th. Sugar Sean has been a hot prospect who many believe can be a star if he's able to perform at the highest level inside the octagon. His first major bump in the road will be his run-in with USADA. He said, quote, on Instagram, "Hey guys, Sugar Show here. I wanted to be the first to let you know what's going on. As many of you have seen, the UFC announced this weekend that they are no longer announcing potential violations of the USADA program because of the high number of unintentional use cases under the program and are instead waiting until the end. I find myself caught up in one of these exact cases right now. Even though under the new policy my case would not be public right now, I feel it's important to be upfront and honest with my fans. I've been working with Jeff Nowitzki at UFC, and I believe that we have already identified a dietary supplement that would have caused this. We've sent remaining samples from the bottle that I took to the USADA lab, and as well as full-size bottle. I'm told the testing of these supplements can take as long as 30 days. Fuck this
guy. First of all, let's say fuck this guy, because first of all, this guy sucks. He's overrated. I've been saying this from the goddamn very beginning. He's overrated. And this man, I'm a big fan of the Diaz brothers. And Diaz brothers like, everybody's on steroids. He goes on Ariel's show today and says, I don't know what it is, man. I just don't. Fuck you. The biggest fight of your career over here, UFC 229, and you're sucking on steroids. What are you doing here? Well, now, I'm not saying it's his fault, but I'm sick of this kid, man. I don't care about this kid. Do you give a shit about Sean
like
O'Malley?
Sugar Sean, so yeah, a little bit.
I don't care. Go smoke the weed. Fight. Do whatever the hell you want, but I don't know. I don't think he's that good. Let me know in the chat. Is he good or fuck this guy. What else do we have in the news?
John Jones fires back at GSP for recent PED comments. GSP and Jones have usually been chummy when seen together. The two had a bro moment when they bumped into each other waiting in line to get into a club. They've also shown support in the crowd on fight nights. That's because GSP would split his time with Jackson Wink and TriStar Jim. It appears this friendliness has become a bit rocky. GSP recently criticized an unnamed fighter for saying steroids didn't cause the head kick that knocked out his opponent. Many assume GSP was talking about Jones' UFC 214 fight with Daniel Cormier. Bones certainly took offense to this and went on Instagram to vent.
Super chat.
Oh shit, Ryan Castro coming in with the super chat.
Thanks again for having me on Raising Hands Medium Light Skin Tone.
Look at that. Raising hands, medium light skin tone. There we go. Ryan Castro with the super chat. Showing you how it's done. Link in the description, or you can slap that little $sign. Back to the news.
John Jones says, quote, "It sucks when you have to hear someone you've always shown respect to sit and talk foolishness, but that's the nature of the game these days. Saying steroids won't change more than physical performance, make you more creative and hungry. Do you know how crazy that sounds? I guess brain damage is real out here. Saying PED metabolites through a kick? Come on, man. It's called training and identifying a weakness. So much, in fact, I told him to his face it was coming and then landed it. That's called execution. How about rather than campaigning for GOAT status, you get in there and dominate your next fight? I've had nothing but respect for you over all these years. Don't change that now. You're better than this." Jones will be eligible to return to the octagon on October 28th. The former UFC light heavyweight champ has agreed to give USADA creditable substantial assistance in exchange for a reduced suspension. Jones has failed 2 drug tests under USADA's watch.
Now we are flying through the news Speedy Gonzalez round because it is the MMA Holes Hour. We only have an hour to deliver you the news. If you missed Ryan Castro's interview fighting for Bellator, well, run it back. But we are continuing the show with another story. Jessie, what else we got in the news?
Conor McGregor is open to fight Ferguson or Pettis if Khabib Nurmagomedov pulls out of UFC 229. Conor McGregor admitted that he lost his love for the fight game at some point during his 2-year hiatus, but he is adamant that the hunger is back again ahead of this weekend's clash with Khabib Nurmagomedov. Recently, Owen Roddy told the Eurobash podcast that the Russian's history with weight cutting is a concern for Team McGregor ahead of the lightweight title fight. McGregor seems to share a worry about Nurmagomedov's battle with the scales and claimed when his camp initially got underway, he had no interest in taking a replacement fight if the Eagle somehow didn't make it to the octagon on October 6th. He said, quote, "I've already already been mapping out what I want to do next. I know Pettis and Ferguson is the co-main. Originally, about a month or two ago, when that fight got announced for the co-main, I was like, man, if Khabib bottles this fight like he has bottled many fights before, if he bottles this one, I don't think, fuck those other two. No disrespect to those other two. I don't give a fuck about those other two to step in and fight. I think I probably would have just disappeared back into the shadows and got that Nurmagomedov somewhere else outside of here. As the Irishman continued, he outlined why he now thinks he would take on either Anthony Pettis or Tony Ferguson, who clashed in the co-main event, should Khabib pull out. He also claimed that bouts with Dustin Poirier, Nate Diaz, Tyron Woodley, and GSP are all on his radar at the moment.
There we go. And that is courtesy of MMA Fighting. We have all the stories on the MMA-Holes.com, gathering it all over the interwebs over there. Conor McGregor, I hope this card stays intact, man. So far, so good. Khabib's on weight. Conor is a true professional. Tony Ferguson looks confident, but that's never done anything before. Pettis looking fantastic. Seen some of his training footage. It's going to be a good card if it stays intact. I don't care if Sugar Shane O'Malley's off the card. That doesn't do anything for me. It's still a good card to me. A lot of people are saying it's a scrub card and this and that. I don't know what they're fucking talking about. It's going to be a banging night, and we'll be live for that Saturday.
All right. According to BJPen.com, Greg Hardy wins again by first round KO and stays undefeated. Just real quick, Greg Hardy is still undefeated as a professional MMA fighter with a record of 3-0 now. While many MMA fans on Saturday night were watching Bellator 206's stacked card, Hardy was fighting on a regional scene at XFN 352. Hardy was taking on Rasheem Jones in the main event. Hardy came out and starched Jones before finishing him with the ground and pound just 53 seconds into the fight. The fight was exclusively shown on UFC Fight Pass, where Hardy is continuing to attempt to show the UFC that he is a legit fighter and a talent-worthy signing. Hardy has all 3 of his professional wins by knockouts and has never been past the first round.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, I think
it is something to pay attention to, because if Greg Hardy does push himself the way he has been, he can be a big name in the UFC.
I mean, he's going to be a big name in the UFC just by his name alone and how he can hit women. He's very strong in that way. So, yeah, go Greg Hardy. Let's talk. Do we have it? Do we have the article on there about Risen? Have we spoken about Risen? I don't think we've.
No.
Holy shit, we didn't even pull that. Real quick, if you live under a rock, I mean, please, BLT put it on the MMAHoles.com. There's a fight on there. Bob Sapp.
Yeah.
For this weekend on Risen. And please do yourself a favor and watch this fight. Dada versus Kimbo. Man, they're
so great.
They have their hands full because this fight is a thing of beauty. So just go watch that. Bob Sapp returns. Yeah. Please go to the MMAHoles.com and courtesy. Shout out to BLT for dropping that over there. Fantastic stuff. Let me know if you saw Risen in the chat. Yes or no? Yes. Let me know. All right. What else do we have over here? Jessie in the news.
Dana White slammed Scott Coker in a lawsuit deposition. All his promotions have been failures, in a quote.
Nice.
Yes. UFC President Dana White has always kept it fairly quiet when asked about Bellator MMA President and Strikeforce founder Scott Coker. But most recently in a deposition...
super chat.
We got my boo back. Chat. What's up, Big Ebony?
I want you tickle my black ass with yo red beard man beard.
Thank you, Big Ebony. I tell you,
I like the name, Big Ebony.
Big Ebony, I got to say.
Big Ebony Honey Buns.
I'm quite erect from that super chat over there. Thank you very much, Big Ebony. And we are on Podbean and iTunes as well. Yeah. So if you donate, well, you get to flash your humor over there as well. All right, What else we have? Oh, yeah, let's talk about this over here. Interesting.
UFC President Dana White has always kept fairly quiet when asked about Bellator MMA President and Strikeforce founder Scott Coker, but most recently in a deposition, White took aim at the former Zuffa employee, stating all promotions Coker has been affiliated with have been, quote, failures. For former UFC fighters Kung Lee, Nathan Quarry, and John Fitch originally filed the antitrust lawsuit against the UFC back in December 2014.
Can I just interrupt you for a second, Jesse? Hold that thought. Ryan Castro is still in the chat over here, and I have to say this. He is definitely an MMA hole. I'm watching contently over here as he is going back and forth with these peeps, and I think we have ourselves another goddamn stud. I really do. I'm liking this Ryan guy. Shout out to Ryan Castro in the chat. Go give him a follow.
White's deposition in regards to the lawsuit took place in Las Vegas in 2017. When asked about Coker's involvement in several different promotions during his time promoting MMA, White labeled them all as, quote, failures. One of those promotions, Strikeforce, were once at a point in which they recruited a myriad of talented fighters, names such as Alistair Overeem, Nick Diaz, and Fabricio Werdum. White said the following about Coker's involvement in Strikeforce, quote, yeah, what is crazy is you just laid out for me how horrible they were at promoting. That's amazing. If you can't turn those guys into stars and run your business, you should probably get into another line of work. The UFC would go on to purchase Strikeforce in March of 2011. Coker would continue to run Strikeforce until the promotions dissolved at the beginning of 2013. After that, the UFC acquired most of the fighters signed to Strikeforce. However, White remained insistent that the fighters such as Ronda Rousey were not stars until he turned them into household names in the UFC. He said, quote, look at what everybody has done in Strikeforce. It's just these guys don't know how to promote. It's not what they're good at. When you have Ronda Rousey, you can't turn her into a star. You should probably go open a restaurant or something.
Wow. So Dana White with some harsh words. This is from Bloody Elbow over there.
He's basically telling Scott Coker to get lost.
I tell you what Scott Coker did with Strikeforce was fantastic. Now, yes, Strikeforce did fold, but they were banging. In fact, Strikeforce to me back in the day was better than the UFC.
Yeah.
And now look at some of these UFC champions. You have Strikeforce written all over it. I tell you what, they developed some serious stars. They did a good job developing it, but as a promotion, yeah, they did fold. So I guess you can, throw shade on the parade over there. But with Bellator, I like what he's doing. Yeah. I really do. Now, maybe it's going to have the same fate, but it's enjoyable to me. That last event was fun. I had a good time with that thing. So let me know in the chat. Do you think Scott Coker is a bum, or do you think that he has something here with Bellator? What else do we have in the news?
According to MMA News, or My MMA News, Dana White says that we might see Cormier versus Jones 3 at heavyweight. UFC President Dana White says a third bout between DC and John Jones could be contested at heavyweight. Cormier is currently the champ. He holds UFC light heavyweight and heavyweight titles. DC is currently set to face Brock Lesnar in early 2019, but a familiar foe is now eligible to compete on October 28th. Cormier and Jones have been firing off verbal jabs on social media since the announcement of Jones' eligibility. With a rivalry as ugly as Cormier versus Jones, fans have been clamoring for a third bout between the two. Speaking to TMZ Sports, White said he may see it at heavyweight, saying, quote, I would like to see it. I think the fans would like to see it. What would be interesting is we might see it at a heavyweight. I'm going to do whatever DC wants to do. Daniel Cormier has been an incredible champion for us. He's an incredible human being. He's a stud, and I'm going to do everything in my power to keep that man happy. Jones has ruled the light heavyweight division, but for a while, analysts and fans have agreed that Bones will eventually have to move up to heavyweight due to his size. There will likely come a time when Jones's body will refuse weight cutting, and he'll make the jump up to heavyweight. It seems like it's not a matter of if, but when.
There you go. I think this fight is inevitable. I really do. I think this is going to definitely happen. Like Dana White is saying, DC beats Brock, John Jones beats Gus, and we see the third fight, the retirement fight for Daniel Cormier. Let me know in the chat at heavyweight who wins that fight, Daniel Cormier or John Jones. What do we have going on in the chat over here?
Stanley Moon says, haha. Ryan Lewis Castro says it's almost as good as an ear sex.
Wonderful.
I got to go back in the chat and read that.
Steve Johnson says, yeah, baby, fill my sinus cavity. Stanley Moon, Castro killing it. Almond Bro 74 says, who doesn't love anal? Steve Johnson's laughing in the chat. Kevin from Chicago says, Jones has to take it. His ass whooping from Gus. Smoke Something says, I love sex with Yoo-Hoo bottles. Shout out to Smoke Something. Came from my chat. He said he just subscribed to the MMA-Holes today.
What up, Smoke?
Ryan Castro says, Castro the entertainer. Oh, I missed it. My apologies. Castro says, I don't know how to read or write, though. Ali Avzar says, Cormier can't beat Jones even at home.
We got a super chat now and later. What up?
Champ Nuance DNA results equals 43% Euro, 52% Native, 5% Asian.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Thank you now and later. I'm going to decode that after the show. Thank you very much. And thank you for everyone for joining us. We have 20 likes.
20 likes, 20 likes.
I've got fucking 20 likes. Yeah.
20 likes, 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes.
Let's go.
20 likes, 20 likes.
I've got fucking 20 likes. Fuck the 20.
The dislikes die of leprosy.
We only have one person dying of leprosy tonight. Shout out to that one person. Jessie.
Yes.
What a show tonight. What an absolute show. We have 10 minutes left in the show, and then we're going to start the clock with 5 minutes. With 5 minutes left, you can save the show. We'll open up some phone lines. Whatever you donate with that 5 minutes left, well, that will be the minutes we will go longer in the show. So when we start that clock, that's when you put that donation. And thank you for the contributions tonight. What else do we have on the message board?
All right. Fabricio Werdum says he balked at USADA's option to snitch. Yes. At UFC 214, Jon Jones finally completed his comeback, knocking out his rival DC, and we all know about everything that happened there. It was supposed to be a new beginning for Jones, a chance to restart one of the most successful careers in MMA history. Instead, it proved more of the same as Jones once again failed a USADA drug test and had his win overturned to a no contest. Jones was looking at a possible 4-year suspension, but last week Jones was finally given his punishment, a 15-month suspension retroactive to July 2017. It was a significantly lighter suspension than most had anticipated. USADA didn't just hand Jones a softball suspension. Out of the goodness of its hearts, though, Jones received a lesser punishment by availing himself of Article 10611 in the UFC's anti-doping policy, which essentially states that a fighter can get a reduced suspension if he or she provides substantial information and cooperation in another case that can lead to anti-doping sanctions or even criminal charges. Jones appears to be the first fighter to have taken advantage of the rule, though his Jones manager denies that Jones ratted anyone out to get a lesser suspension, but he wasn't the first to be offered it. Last month, Fabricio Werdum was suspended by USADA for 2 years for failing an out-of-competition drug test in April. Werdum apparently got the same offer as Jones, but the former heavyweight champ recently told Combat that he would never snitch on anyone else to save his own skin. He said, quote, "What surprised me the most was at the end of the interview, it was something that I found absurd. They said, Werdum, here's the thing. If you tell on someone, it was what you could call, however you pronounce that, something premiata, which is a plea bargain. Werdum, if you tell on someone using the slang, if you're a snitch, will shorten your suspension. Because you're going to have to pay something, because you're going to have to pay something."
So hold on a second. Let's talk about this in English. So Werdum basically opted not to snitch.
Yeah.
Okay. So there we go. There you go. Werdum throwing it out there to Jon Jones, saying, "Hey, Jon Jones, I didn't snitch, and I'm like 40-something years old. What, 41, 42 years old, and this could be the end of my career, and I'm not going to snitch." Let me know in the chat what you think. A lot of people are criticizing Jon Jones for snitching. Jessie, I know you're not the biggest Jon Jones fan, but what do you think about the whole snitch thing?
I think that in this particular situation with Fabricio Werdum, I think Werdum saw the whole thing with Jon Jones, saw how much publicity he was getting for it, and was like, well, I got popped 2 months ago. I was offered it. This is my way of staying relevant. That's what I think it is. I think he knew that if he talked about how he was offered being a snitch as well and didn't take it, not only can he stay relevant, but he can be the good guy in the situation.
So you think because he got caught for steroids, he's using this to be like, well, hey, at least I didn't snitch. I cheated, but I didn't snitch. Yeah,
for sure. He's using it for the publicity. He's using it for the headlines.
Let me know in the chat what you guys think about Fabricio Werdum. Listen,
I think he doesn't give a fuck, to be honest.
Werdum, it is what it is. His best days are way behind him, and now with the whole steroid thing, it's throw another boomerang. Yeah. All right, what else do we have in the news?
All right. Officials explain why UK fans ended up watching Peppa Pig instead of Bellator 206 main event.
The moment you have all been waiting for. Yeah. The Peppa Pig story.
Bellator's first attempt at exclusively streaming an event online was expected to have hiccups, but it was the United Kingdom's television viewers that experienced the biggest disturbance.
Is that on the message board? I can't even find it.
It is.
Let's see. Hold on a second. I'm looking for it.
Very top. No, not very top.
Not very top. Hold on.
It's this picture of Scott Coker.
Scott Coker. Oh, no. Not the development. Hold on. There it is.
All right.
Peppa Pig.
When the highly anticipated Bellator 206 main event between middleweight champ Gegard Mousasi and welterweight champ Rory Macdonald finally kicked off on Saturday evening, it was 10 p.m. in San Jose, California, where the event was taking place, and 6 a.m. over in the UK. Instead of seeing that super fight, British MMA fans who had stayed up to watch the show on Channel 5 were instead switched over to an episode of a children's program, Peppa Pig.
Now, this Peppa Pig, it looks like a hairdryer. Like, it looks like a penis hair dryer, right? Yeah. It doesn't look like a pig, right? Doesn't it look like a penis hair dryer?
It's a ball sack.
Yeah, with a nut. Yeah, with nuts hanging from it, like penis hair dryer pig. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. At the Bellator 206 post-fight press conference, company president Scott Coker was asked about how much of a gaffe could happen, and he initially deferred to Bellator senior vice president of marketing and communications Dave Schwartz for an answer. Schwartz explained that early morning programming in the UK does not allow for the kind of violent content that an MMA company like Bellator deals in. He said, quote, "It's government regulation that at 6 a.m. the content was not suitable, so they had switched to the children's programming. Peppa the Pig, yes." Bellator 206 was being billed as one of the most important events in company history, with a trio of marquee fights headlining, in addition to Mousasi McDonald match. Legends Quinton Rampage Jackson and Vanderlei Silva faced off for the fourth time in the co-main event, and welterweight stars Douglas Lima and Andrei Koreshkov met in a trilogy
All right,
bout.
so we know what happened here. So the Pig came in. So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Right before the main event, these stories are way too long. Right before the main event, the Pig came on.
Yes.
So you're watching Bellator. Let me get this straight. So you're watching Bellator, and it wasn't on DAZN or DAZN, whatever the fuck it's called. When you are in the UK, it's for free. I think it's on 5 over there or something like that. You're watching. Could you imagine, right, that you're getting into the fights? Rory Macdonald's about to fight Gegard Mousasi, and Penis Hairdryer comes trotting across the screen, and that's it. That's a wrap. Unbelievable. Like, out of all things, this thing shows up. And Scott Coker said at the press conference, he said that, well, yeah, he didn't think that it was going to go that long. He just had I didn't think it was going to go that long. And he was like, yeah, it's all good. Like, no, like, it was no big deal. When they asked him at the press conference, watch it back, Scott Coker with his blubbery face was just like, well, what could you do? It went a little bit longer than we expected. Don't you think he should have been like Scott Coker should have been like, you know, it's the first time the UK gets to see it live. Yeah. Scott Coker should have been like, you know what? I'm sorry, guys. We fucked up. You know, we had the right idea. We fucked up. And you got cock blocked by this pig. Penis pig face. Right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable stuff over there. All right, let's start the clock over here. And it's time to save the show. There are 5 minutes on this clock. Well, 4 minutes and 53.21 seconds left. You can save the show. With that donation, whatever you donate, that denomination, we will go that much longer. So if you want to donate, link down below, some crazy songs and whatever, or a super chat. Now's the time to do it.
Wonderful.
All right, Jesse, what else do we have in the news?
That's it.
That's it? Oh, okay. So, all right, so Peppa Pig. All right. Let me know in the chat. Have you ever seen Peppa Pig? I've never seen Peppa Pig. I've heard of it. My nephews have watched Peppa Pig. In fact, my friends' children have an accent because of the pig. Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard his son.
Yeah. They have like a British accent.
Yeah.
Like they live in New York and the kids have an accent because of the pig.
His son sounds like he's from Europe.
Yeah. Anyway.
He just got back from a trip and I assumed it was because of that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. He went to Paris. And he was talking like Peppa Pig instead. This weekend, big fight over here. Conor McGregor is fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov, and we still don't even have a main event for UFC 230. So I'm thinking that the press conference this Thursday will have the announcement of who's headlining UFC 230, and still nothing, Jesse. Any thoughts in your head what it can be?
No.
No?
TJ Cejudo. That's what you're saying? Sure.
Everything I've said has been exploded. It's been people getting hurt. Just weird shit happening. It looks like John Jones will be fighting Gus at 232. So that's out of the picture. Tyron Woodley gets hurt. Maybe Colby Covington steps in and fights someone else. I don't fucking know. GSP? No, I don't think that's going to happen. It's too close. Dana White says there's no way that 165 belt is going to be happening with Nate Diaz and Poirier. Cejudo, TJ, it might be the only option. What do you guys think in the chat?
Jay Smith says Herb Dean as ref means someone's career will end on Saturday night. Ryan Lewis Castro says John Blow knows Jones versus Gus. Michael Chapman says Jesse, I want you to be my pinky ring. Steve Johnson says I love career-ending fights. Weezing336 says, what about the news of McGregor wanting to fight Anderson Silva? I don't think McGregor will be defending a 155 belt many times.
Hold up a second, Jesse. There is a super chat over here. Harvey Weinstein dropping that motherfucking super chat. And it's coming through, saving the show.
Chat.
Harvey Weinstein!
Hey, Holes. Been a while. I'm able to get off a message while I'm on bail. Thanks for taking care of potted plant. Miss my jizz bucket. Felony coming my way.
There you go. Thank you, Harvey Weinstein, for that donation. We got 5 more swole minutes, and there is Harvey's potted plant. It's still
Harvey,
alive.
I have a question for you. Is it a male or a female? Because I named him Mr. Bonsai, but Chris is under this assumption that it's a female and named her Ophelia.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's Mr. Bonsai.
Ophelia.
Mr. Bonsai.
What do you guys say in the chat? What should be the name of the potted plant?
Or if it's a male, Ophelio.
Or potted plant. You could just call it potted plant.
Ophelio. It's not a girl.
All right, so we're going to extend the show 5 more minutes. Thank you so much, Harvey Weinstein. And that is the real Harvey Weinstein. I bet you didn't know that Harvey Weinstein is a avid watcher of the show. Okay, so I'm going to open up the phone lines. We have 5 more minutes, and some people did say they wanted to call, so now is your opportunity. If you missed Ryan Castro, the entertainer, well, run it back after the stream is done and check out that interview. Ryan is a really swole MMA hole, has a big fight for Bellator coming up. Jessie.
The plant is asexual.
Asexual. All right, phone lines are open.
That's what he said.
Who said that?
Harvey.
Harvey said that? It's asexual? I thought you just said the plant is asexual, so I'm assuming that you said that.
Harvey said it.
Well, how am I supposed to read your mind?
Harvey.
You ever notice
Harvey
that?
said it.
How men are supposed to read women's minds? You ever notice that? Like, if you say something, I'm supposed to read your mind. Like, I'm supposed to know.
Yeah.
I know. I keep on getting it wrong.
You
right?
always get it wrong.
God damn it. Well, God damn it.
One day he'll get it right.
How many people in the chat have seen Jessie's channel? Link in the description. She was on a treadmill today, right? She did a treadmill stream. If you want more of those streams.
I dropped the phone.
You dropped the phone.
I told him I don't know how many of these I can do because I don't know how much of a beating my phone can take.
Drop some names for the plant and let me know with the ones if you've seen Jessie on the treadmill or whatever. No, you're on an elliptical actually, right?
Yeah.
An elliptical.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, it's
I was running.
It's an elliptical. Yeah, she was running on an elliptical.
Yeah, you saw me sweat today, Staley.
All right, so link in the description. Check out Jessie's channel and not the MMA holes. We're going to reset this clock and boom, 5 minutes are on the clock. Thank you for the donations. If you want to keep donating and supporting the show, well, link in the description. All right, here we go. 516-522-0267 is our phone number. Thank you to Ryan Castro for coming on. Shout out to TygerLyfe Energy and Duplex Entertainment. Links in the descriptions. And here's our phone call. You are live with the MMA holes. What is your name and what is on your mind?
This is Kevin.
Kevin, what's up?
So I wanted to talk about Rory Macdonald. Did you hear his excuse? His excuse was that, he didn't show up. He said, I wasn't mentally ready, wasn't mentally prepared, or something like that. I just think Gegard, Rory Macdonald's style, he likes to get in the low stance and stick his face forward, and that's a terrible style to go against Gegard, who's got a good jab. He was able to pop that jab, and just a terrible matchup. Gegard's too long, too big for Rory. I don't know what he was thinking going up on weight against Gegard, against a beast like Gegard.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see Rory go back down and skip this tournament. I think the best bet would pull out of the tournament and just face the winner of the tournament to defend his belt.
Do you think...
And my other point is John Jones. Who the hell is he to question GSP or talk shit to GSP, saying he's got brain damage or something? Fucking GSP didn't even mention John Jones' name. I don't think he brought John Jones up. He was just talking shit and said something, he's got brain damage. Man, GSP is he's the gentleman of the sport, the most classiest. He brought this sport to a classy level like no one else has before. And this scumbag John Jones, steroid cokehead, is going to talk shit to GSP. That dude needs to get fucking whooped bad. I hope Gus does it.
There you go. All right, Kevin, thanks for the call. Yeah, John Jones. Yeah, I mean, what are you doing? GSP, the friendly alien, right?
You kind of snorted. When
Did
you
I?
said yeah, you're like, yeah.
That's my Peppa Pig. What are you doing? Why are you going after GSP, right? I mean, Michael Bisping did it because they had a fight. Why is John Jones going after him? Do you think John Jones is lobbying for a GSP fight? Is that what's going on?
No, not at all.
I mean, what are we doing? All right, I don't know. Yeah, why? And let's talk about the Rory Macdonald. Yeah, Rory Macdonald gets his face smashed in by Gegard Mousasi. And he did say, I did read that article actually, that he said that, well, actually he said it on social media, Roy, that, he just wasn't there, right? He wasn't prepared for the fight. He just wasn't in that zone. And I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I really don't think that's the case. Gegard was jabbing the fuck out of him. And then once he got on top of him, he was mutilating him. He mounted him easily. And it was just, oof. It was hard to watch. It was fantastic to watch if you're a Gegard fan. But if you're pulling for Rory Macdonald and watching his face just open up and blood just squirting out of his nostrils.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, let's open up the phone lines. Let's take one more call. We have 1 minute and 50 seconds left. 516-522-0267. Give us a call. One more call, and we have to wind this show down. We're going to be live on Wednesday. TGIW.
What?
Conor McGregor versus Habib.
Yes.
It's time to get excited.
Yes.
It's time. And we're going to talk about the co-main event.
CBD.
We're going to talk about a little CBD.
CBD.
Right over here with grinding. CBD.
CBD. CBD. CBD. CBD.
CBD.
CBD. CBD. CBD. CBD. CBD. CBD. It helps with healing process and inflammation and stuff like that. So you wanted to get
420
before or after the fight training and make your life a better place.
Hello, grinding.
Let's keep this bitch going.
You know what, Jesse? We only have a minute left.
5 minutes.
Let's throw another on there, right?
5 minutes.
Let's just throw another one on there. Fuck it. We usually just throw one, but we're going to throw one more. Thank you, grinding in the shadows. And bam, 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 80s motherfucking fist grip. TygerLyfe.
Wonderful.
The cringiest. That's right. The fucking cringeness is real over here on the MMA Holes. It's Monday night. We're pumped up. We're fired up. We're shot out of a cannon. We had Ryan Castro. We have Jessie Belle Hill. Jesse's watching the replay over there. How ridiculous this show is. And let's do it. Let's keep it going. You want to keep it going? It's Monday night. What else are you going to be doing? Lying in bed, jerking off, fingering the pussy, fucking your spouse, your boyfriend. Let's keep the party going. Let's put some more time on the clock over here.
Wonderful.
All right, let's put a little 420 on the clock. Shout out to our weed smokers.
Shout out.
Look at that. 420 on the clock over there. We're keeping the party going. Let's open the phone lines back up at 516-522-0267. Two people saving the show. One night, breaking the rules, and just keep it going. Right, Jesse?
Yeah.
Jesse, I noticed that you're just in the zone tonight. You're in the...
I have a really bad I have a migraine. I've gone this whole show with a migraine. I just thought I wasn't going to say anything, but now they bring it up. Yeah. I just wasn't going to tell anybody.
Tell us about this migraine.
No.
We have 3 more minutes to talk about it.
No.
Don't talk to us, Jesse.
Stop.
Well, you know...
I think I'm just dehydrated.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're just not enough
I think I worked
hydration.
out. I sweat a little bit too much, and I didn't drink enough water.
Yeah.
And I didn't really eat much today, so I think I'm just I just have a really bad migraine.
It's not a tumor.
You know what, Pulse? You joke, but when I'm a hypochondriac, so if I get a bad headache, sometimes I think myself into things. Like one time I thought I got a tumor on my hip because I slammed my hip in a car door by accident.
Thank you for the call. All right, here we go. You're alive with the MMA Holes. What's your name? What's on your mind?
What's up, bitches? It's Harvey.
What's up, Harvey?
What up, Harv?
Hey, not much, man. Just out on bail right now. You know, things are a little tough around the original Cassie Couch studio, but I gotta say thank you guys for taking over my duties. I really appreciate it. So, best of wishes to you all. I might not be around much longer.
Oh, wait, what? Why?
I don't know, man. This whole court thing isn't going too well.
Good.
My man Bill Cosby, his fate wasn't too good, so it's not leaning too great. But again, I gotta thank you for taking care of Potted Plant.
Well,
that's my jizz bucket.
Potted Plant is in good hands right now. It's still alive, so that's I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked by that.
Harvey, is the Potted Plant an Ophelia or is it Mr. Bonsai?
Great question, JBH. You know what? It can be whatever you guys want.
It's Mr. Bonsai.
All right. We'll take a vote after the show. All right, Harvey. Thank you for the call.
Definitely. Oh, real quick. I got my Mike Perry wristband. I'll send a picture over shortly.
Oh, good
Thanks,
stuff.
guys.
Cool.
All right. Harvey Weinstein over there. There he is. Calling in. Harvey, yeah, he's got himself a wristband too. Look at that.
Nice.
Go check out Felony's channel. We got a Felony pillow over here.
I hope Marky's in the chat. His love letter's coming soon.
Who's love? Oh, yeah, shit.
Marky.
You got to write that thing.
It's going out tomorrow.
Marky Wahoo.
Be ready, Marky. Your love letter's going out tomorrow.
You're going to get the Jessie.
It's going to be fantastic. You're going to love it. It's going to be great.
All right, Marky. Hope you're pumped up for that.
It's going to be so bad.
It's good that Harvey Weinstein is here. I hope he's okay. You know, I mean, he's a nice guy.
Sure.
He's a supporter of the show. And yeah, so what if he molested some women and, you know, did some things? You know, I mean, I maybe he's just misunderstood, Harvey.
Yeah.
You know? What do you think?
Misunderstood.
So here it is. It is fight week. UFC 229. I cannot fucking wait. Now, Sean O'Malley is off the card, but I mean, how are people saying that this card sucks? The main card so far, and I'm knocking on wood, I cannot wait. You got Tony Ferguson versus Anthony Pettis. That's fire. You got St. Preux versus Reyes. St. Preux's always in a good fight. The Black Beast trying to bounce back after that fight. Even though he won, yeah, people act like he lost, but he is now the number 2 heavyweight. He's still my guy. And the Black Beast versus Volkov. Be careful with that one. That is a tough fight for Black Beast. Volkov is a tough dude over here coming in with that serious striking. You got the ladies, Waterson versus Herrick. A fascinating fight over here. And we're going to get into more detail with this stuff on Wednesday night, TGIW. If you have not subscribed to the second channel, it's not the MMA Holes. Go give Castro, the entertainer, on Instagram a follow.
Follow him.
Check out his Instagram and check out the interview earlier. And Jessie, look into the eyes of the audience. Look into their souls. Speak to the people right now.
Don't be an a-hole. Be an MMA hole.
Tiene